to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
YouTube, and welcome back to Brett Vapes. My name is Brett, and here you get to watch me give the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Before we get started, would you please do me a favor and hit that subscriber button and smash that notification bell down below so that YouTube knows to let you know when I've posted a video. And don't forget to demolish that like button because YouTube analytics. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Brett Vapes and also on Facebook at Brett Vapes. Links are down in the description below. Today's review is sponsored by me. Because that's right, I bought it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
This RTA was a huge hit towards the end of 2019 and I jumped right on board with all of you. I'll be reviewing the Blotto RTA, made by Dovpo and designed by Vaping. For those of you who don't know who Vaping is, he's some big hotshot Australian vape reviewer here on YouTube. But anyway, jokes aside, he has won multiple awards for his channel here on YouTube. I'll put his link down in the description below if you guys would like to check him out if you haven't already. Anyway, to the review. So here we have the Blotto RTA. I got myself the gunmetal grey color because it looks really good on my Noisy Cricket V2 and also on my Vaporesso Gen. But if you don't like this color, it also comes in black, silver, rainbow, purple, green, and then Pink Splatter, which I wish I knew about because it looks really cool. The features of this tank are it has a dripper like flavor. You can run dual or single coil in it, whichever you prefer. It has 240 degrees airflow that goes directly onto the coils. Wow, that's a very precise number, guys. They say that the straight glass has a 2 ml capacity and the bubble glass is a 6 ml. It has dual diffusion airflow for a smooth draw. You get glass and ultem bubble windows plus flat glass, so that means you get 2 spare glasses. That's awesome. I wish all suppliers did this, guys. It is easy to fill and it has a bottle opener included, which, as a side note, can also be used as a coil trimming tool, and that I'll show you guys later when we wick it and all that stuff. What do we get in the box, Brett? Well, let's have a look, guys. So we get the Blotto RTA, 1 bubble glass tube, 1 ultem bubble glass tube. We get 1 bag of accessories with spare O-rings, a nice little tool, and also your spare screws for the build deck. 1 user manual. And last but not least, we get 1 bottle opener. Really cool skull looking bottle opener. Alright guys, let's get up close and personal with this guy and see how it works. So here we have the Blotto. If we unscrew the top cap here, we see the filling holes. The nice large filling holes over there. If you are still using those old glass bottles with the droppers, then that should easily fit into these holes. There's a lot, I mean, look at that. Lots of play in there. So definitely easy to fill up the tank. Now we just plop this guy back on here, the top cap back on here. It's about half a turn, so as you can see, it just plops on and about half a turn and then it's tight. And the same way to loosen as well. You loosen, half a turn, and pop off. Nice and easy. Alright. Then we unscrew the base here. Yeah. There we go. And there we have it, the build deck. This is such a unique build deck for an RTA because you generally don't want the airflow to go over the coil like this, because it limits you to what coil size you can put in here, and it also creates a lot of heat. But this actually works really well. If you're going single coil, you're going to have to... So if you're going single coil, you're going to have to cut the legs a bit longer. And you have to put both legs on one side. So either over here or over there. Because the posts do like a crisscross sort of thing. So you've got your positive, negative, negative, positive. As you can see, this is actually quite a... I got this a couple of months back, so it's already started to discolor. So you can see that there's one post like that, and one post goes underneath, obviously, which is part of the main deck. So if I were to unscrew this part, this would come out. Dual coil is the same as your single coil, except you have 2 coils instead of 1, and the legs are cut slightly shorter. So you've got the 1 coil sitting there and the 1 coil sitting there. See, it makes sense like that, but why couldn't they have done like the positive, positive, negative, negative sort of thing? Because then if you go single coil, you just have your positive and negative leg there, and it's centered out. You don't need to worry about it. Instead, you've got... Yeah, I don't like that bit. Anyway, let's set up the coils now. The coils I'm using are the white collar fused Claptons. They estimate to be 0.5 ohm for a single coil and 0.25 ohm for the dual coil. I'm going to be running a dual coil for this setup. So step 1, we grab the bottle opener tool that we get with the RTA, so this guy. Okay, you see this rectangle over here, guys. Now, most people would think that this place is for your keyring, when you stick your bottle opener on your keyring and all that. You're not you aren't wrong, but you're not exactly right either. So this, in fact, is a part for coil trimming. So what you do is you take your coil. So let's grab our coil. Okay, oh dear. So you take your coil, you insert the one leg through the hole there, and you have the other one out here like that, and you just pull it in, and voila. Then so then you stick it like that, and the coil sits nicely in the rectangle like this over there. Then you take your wire cutters and you just cut along here, along the base, just like that. And there we go, it's cut perfect length for the Blotto. Now I'm going to do the other one quickly. And there you go, perfect length for the Blotto. I thought this was genius when I finally found out what this was for. Next, step 2 is to stick the coils into the posts. So
One eternity later.
So once you've got them both in and it's all adjusted, then we just need to fire it up. Yes, it's a new load. I'll generally, when you fire it up, guys, please fire it up from a very low wattage, because if there are any hot spots, you do not want to melt your coil. So what you do is you fire it up from a low point to find any hot spots. Maybe we can go a bit higher than 14 watts. Let's try 20. Okay, so there you see, I'm getting some hot spots. Okay, so when you've got hot spots, guys, you need to brush it out. It's very simple. You just brush it out with your ceramic tweezers, just like so. Your end goal is to get it to heat up from the center out on both coils at the same time. Let's bump that up a bit. I have to change batteries just now. There we go. Get rid of once all those hot spots are gone. And you just let it cool down. And once it's cooled down, you're ready for the next step. So guys, what have we learned here? Always, absolutely, always make sure that you check for hotspots. If you do not check for hotspots, guys, you run the risk of getting a dry hit within the first tank. So always make sure that there are no hotspots. The only tanks you do not need to check your coils for hotspots are mesh tanks. That's the only time you do not need to check, is if you're running mesh. Otherwise, always, I cannot say this enough, guys, always make sure you check for hotspots. But yeah, okay, so once this is cooled down, we will then move over to the next step. That is very hot.
One eternity later.
Once your coils have cooled down, you are ready to wick it. Okay, let me show you. First, we need to get the right width of cotton, which I've already sorted out for myself, but that all depends on the inner diameter of your coils. Just a little bit of advice, guys. I highly recommend against using coils bigger than a 3mm inner diameter, because once you go bigger than a 3mm inner diameter in the Blotto, especially if you're running dual coil, it gets too close. Your coils get too close to each other and to the sides, and you risk melting important parts of your tank. So yeah, don't go over 3mm inner diameter in this tank if you're running dual. If you're running single, then it doesn't matter. Also, the way you can tell if it's thick enough, if your cotton is thick enough for your coil, it needs to be a snug fit. So as you can see, that is a very snug fit. Mustn't be too tight to the point where if you pull your cotton, your coil moves like with it, like extreme, like a lot. But it mustn't be too loose to the point where it's too easy to pull your cotton. So it must be a nice snug fit. There we go. I've got a perfect, which is awesome. It takes a lot of practice to get the right length first time, guys. So don't stress if you have to rewick it multiple times. Then this part over here, some people will just cut it straight. They'll cut once the one side's in, they'll just cut it and then twist and stick it back through. I do it like this. You do you though, guys. You do what you prefer. I prefer doing it this way. So what I do is I stick it through like that, and then I cut it like this. And there we go. So once you have both coils with cotton in, we then go to the one side. Okay, let's just loosen this guy up a bit so it's just a bit easier. You go to the one side, take your scissors, and you cut along the base O-ring. Just like that. And then you repeat on the other side. There we go, just like that. Okay, then what you do is you take your, you just get something thin, something very thin, like a pin or something like that, just to thin out your cotton. And where you're going to thin out is you're going to thin out halfway from the base and the coil, so about there, and you're just going to thin it out. So we do this so that the juice does not get stuck with all the knots in the cotton, and for better juice suction. Once you've thinned out your cotton and you've trimmed all those edges out, then all you need to do is stuff the cotton into your juice holes. So you'll see there you've got your, if it's difficult to see, you've got your juice holes right over there. You're going to stuff this cotton right into there. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's all through the holes, because you've got your threads over here. You don't want any loose strands of cotton to be in the way of there. Otherwise, you're going to have some difficulty unscrewing your tank from the base. Okay, just spread it out like this a bit. Make sure that the cotton is sitting down into there, not like just stuffed up and stuck at the top there, because you've got a lot of space over there, like a lot of space over there, a lot of juice well there. And if your cotton's not reaching down very much like the Zeus Dual, then you're gonna get to the bottom, you're gonna get close to the end of your tank with juice, and you're gonna have to fill up a bit earlier because your cotton's not reaching the juice. So your tank's not going to be empty, but you're going to be getting dry hits. So always just make sure that the cotton is down here, just like that. You know, this tank is so easy to wick, guys. Like, it's simple. There's nothing really much to worry about. It's very easy to do this. Also, make sure that your cotton is completely filled up with has completely filled up your juice well, or the juice holes, sorry, because if there are any gaps, because this is a bottom airflow tank, it's gonna leak a lot if you don't fill up the gaps. So there we go, just want to do that. If it isn't filled and you've got gaps inside of here, just like shift the cotton around. If that still does not work, then just re-wick it because you've wicked it a bit too thin. But otherwise, there we go. We've now wicked the Blotto RTA, guys. Okay, I'm quickly gonna prime this guy, and I'll be right back. There you go. We've wicked the Blotto RTA and primed it. All set up. Let's get back to my beautiful face so we can see how she performs. Alright, so we've wicked the tank. I've filled her up. Now all that's left to do is vape. I've got her set on my Noisy V2. Let's give her a go. Woo! Sure, she runs hot on the Noisy V2, guys. Okay. So flavour is on point. Clouds, look, if she wasn't running so hot on here, I'd probably be able to pull a lot more clouds, because there's definitely a lot of potential there. But that's very hard. So anyway, it definitely has a lot of potential for cloud production. it's got such a smooth pull as well, guys. It is slightly restricted, but you know what, there's nothing wrong with that, because the flavor that it produces is just, oh, it's out of this world. But let's have a look at my pros and cons of the Blotto RTA. Pros: it is very easy to build and wick on. It is very easy to fill the tank. It has a very smooth pull. It's also got a great design outside and inside. Vaping Bogan did say that he designed this off of a bottle cap, which explains a lot. It's actually such a clever design. You get 2 spare bubble glasses, not just 1, but 2. Guys, I swear every single supplier needs to do this. This is so important. People break glasses left, right, and center, and the fact that they've given you 2 and one of them is an ultem glass, that it's just well done, Dovpo and Vaping Bogan, for that. Well done. Then you also get a bottle opener, which then doubles up as a coil trimming tool. Now the cons. First con, it's not a mesh. I don't want to like bump down regular coil tanks. I love regular coil tanks, but I love mesh tanks more, guys. Bogan, I really think you need to look at making a mesh RTA, because I mean, if you can make a regular coil tank this good, you can really do some incredible stuff with mesh tanks. So please, the industry needs this. I need this, please. You've got to do it. But anyway, now the first, I guess, is a con. It's not really a con because I don't see it as a con, but I know that many other people see this as a con. But personally, it's not a con to me. And that would be that it's a bottom airflow. Like I said, I don't find it a con because bottom airflow delivers really great flavor because of how the air is delivered to the coils. But if you don't wick it right, it leaks. So I guess it is a con. Whereas most people, where they prefer the top airflow, even if you wick it wrong, it's not going to leak. It's just going to spit a lot of juice in your mouth. So it's just one of those things. I don't find it as a con, but it is a con in essence. My real con with this though would be the build deck. The way the posts are set up. The build deck is awesome, but the way the posts are. So with the whole crisscross, especially if you're running in single coil, in dual coil it's not so much of an issue, but in single coil, you have to cut the legs a bit longer. You have to adjust the coil so that it sits in the middle of the deck and not on the edge. It's a pain. Whereas it could have easily, just one easy fix would have been, instead of having it positive, negative, negative, positive, you have it positive, negative, positive, negative. It does nothing to change how your coils are set up. Your coils are still set up like that. You've still got the whole thing, so it doesn't change anything about that. All it changes is if you run single coil, you don't have to have the legs on the same side. You can have one leg over here, one leg over there, and you'll be fine. Then the coil's immediately in the middle of the deck, and you're sorted. So that's just my con with this tank, is the way that the posts are set up. I don't like that. But otherwise, that's it. That's my pros and cons, guys. Ladies and gents, that for you is the Blotto RTA. Let me know down in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this tank. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. And also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys have a great one. See you next time. Cheers.
How bad did we want it?